Now we're doing this because sometimes you do that. And we need to sort of trick the mind into understanding that the bow is truly limited, but also moving on its own. Now what we'll be doing in this quick little assignment is you're going to be running your bow along your four fingers. You can run it along touching the bow hair if you like, or just along the baguette like this, so just a little bit. But it's essential that you have your four fingers spread so you have a good, have enough to have it super flat. So we start by having the bow in the left hand like this. So we're holding it with all four fingers. And then you take your bow and just move it along that and get used to this feeling of the bow moving along the four fingers. And when you do this and it's flat and you're thinking, well, four fingers must be in contact with the bow, then your elbow and your wrist will naturally react to this limitation. Now what you want to do, I call this airbowing, is you place your bow just above your D string, since we're on the D string, right? And you can have a finger touching the A string if you want, but again, it's essential that all four fingers are holding the bow up like this. It's nice and flat, and you draw the bow and just look down at where it's supposed to be, all four fingers in constant contact with your bow. As such, if you add this limitation to your bow stroke, this absolute physical limitation, then the hand will have no choice. Again, I'm just allowing the bow to be running along the fingers. Now, if you want to, make a different adjustment and go here to the G strings, the same thing. All four fingers nice and spread, but nice and flat. You see my fourth finger and my first finger are very much in contact. Again, running it along, it stays in constant contact. And as loose as possible here with your bow hold and your wrist to really feel that motion back and out. You also want to make your transitions between pulling and pushing gentle. You don't want to be violent. You don't want to be sudden. Every string that you train on, whether it's the D, the G, or the A, requires this adjustment. Make sure those fingers are nice and flat, nice and spread. When you're ready, place it on the D. I have my middle finger actually still on the A string. Fingers touching. My fingers are in constant contact, my third, my first, and my fourth. Right now the middle finger is just staying in place. And just allowing the arm to move as relaxed as possible. If you want to even do this, remember always turning this direction with your bow hold. Dropping that shoulder, dropping that arm as much as possible to be relaxed. The key is the spread of the fingers. Let's try the G string. Four fingers on, relax as much as possible. Nice big spread. There I am. Nice and flat. So that didn't do that, and you have all of them there. There we go. Once you've found your groove, then it can really just loosen up. And see how utterly relaxed that bow hand can be. A string's a little different because there's nothing to anchor your hand. So be clever on how you're going to do this. Remember, the four strings. Once you found your level, again, once you found that, it's nice and flat. It's not going to tip. This is probably something you can try. Place your bow like this. You'll learn like that. It's not leaning in. This is optimal. This would be what you want to imagine, that the bow is moving along its own track and your arm is just there for the ride. Some of you use mirrors. I'm actually using a bit of a mirror, well, the display on my computer. So use your computer, leverage technology, put your selfie camera going on your phone, and if you can see if it looks level, and you'll be able to feel if it's level. And this is level right here. Doesn't feel like it, but it is. Have those fingers, again, guiding the bow. So there you go. It's nice and level. Every time that you do an exercise, you have to actively relax different parts of your body. I was doing that with my shoulders. I was making little adjustments. Second thing you must always do is allow the brain to remember what works. When you're training a particular motion, when it's a very mechanical motion, you want to be able to do this naturally and not think about it. Be able to not ever let that do this stuff, which is very chilling for your teacher to listen to, or your family, or your friends. Just remember, the bow remains on its own path. There's many tricks we can do. This is just one of the many tricks. 4 fingers, make that shelf. Start in the air. Place. Keep in contact. Again, the key is a 4-finger spread, keeping it flat, and in constant contact with all 4 digits, at least 3 if you're using one. Now time for you to try that at home. See you next time.